Penguin Random House Audio presents The First Major, inside the story of the 2016 Ryder Cup. This is the author, John Feinstein. Dedication. This is for Dave Kindred, who has been a friend, a mentor, and an inspiration to me for 40 years. Introduction. People frequently ask me where I get book ideas. The answer is there's no process, no rhyme, reason, or rhythm. It's totally random. In the case of the Ryder Cup, though, I can pinpoint the exact moment when I knew with absolute certainty that I wanted to chronicle what I believe is golf's most dramatic event. It began shortly after 6 o'clock on a cool, cloudy September Sunday in the English Midlands. That was almost exactly what I wrote on the first page of A Good Walk Spoiled, my first golf book. The 1993 Ryder Cup had, for all intents and purposes, come down to one match. Davis Love III against Costantino Rocca. Rocca, a stocky Italian with an appealing smile, had held a one-up lead standing on the 17th tee. He'd had a 15-foot birdie putt on that green that would have won the match and almost certainly given the cup to Europe. But he'd gotten a little too bold with it and then missed a 4-footer coming back as the crowd groaned in horror. The match was tied. In those days, before the Ryder Cup completely exploded in popularity and media coverage, having the privilege to walk inside the ropes as a member of the media was an absolute joy. As long as you didn't try to walk right down the middle of the fairway, no one bothered you. As the players trudged up the hill to the 18th tee at the Belfry, a truly ordinary golf course, but one the British PGA owned, making it a Ryder Cup cash cow every 4 years, I fell into step with Bruce Edwards. Bruce was Tom Watson's caddy and closest friend. Watson was the U.S. captain and had brought Bruce to the Belfry as an unofficial assistant captain since he was as respected by the players as by the caddies. There were people shouting encouragement at both players as we walked onto the tee, and I saw Watson, arms folded, standing next to Love, a few yards from where Bruce and I were standing. 15 minutes earlier, Watson had arrived on the 17th tee with a grim look on his face. As Love departed the 16th green and walked to where Watson stood, the captain had said, "Davis, we really need this match." Love is one of the truly nice people in sports. I've always said if there were a picture in the dictionary of a gentle man or a gentleman, it would be of Love. He was a Ryder Cup rookie, fighting Rocca, the crowd, and his nerves every step of the way. But when Watson told him that the U.S. really needed this match, Love almost burst out laughing. I almost said, "No shit, Tom," Love said later, but I kept it to myself. The 18th hole at the Belfry is one of the great match play finishing holes in golf, a truly wonderful par 4 that comes after 16 holes that run together in one's mind, and one other excellent hole, the short par 4 10th, a terrific risk-reward hole. The 18th also had plenty of risk and reward, with water running down the left side of the fairway. In 1989, with the cup at stake on Sunday, no fewer than 4 Americans had found that water, leading to a 14-14 tie, with Europe retaining the cup since it had won the matches in the U.S. in 1987. Love was one of the longest hitters on tour, so if he crushed a driver, it would run through the fairway and into the right rough, perhaps into the large bunker in the landing area. The question was 3-wood or 1-iron. Might be a 1-iron, Watson said. Love disagreed. He had the tee and wanted to give Rocca something to think about. So he took out the 3-wood and smashed it down the fairway to a perfect spot. As the ball landed, I felt Bruce's hand on my arm. "Thank God," he said in a barely audible voice. He leaned over and began taking deep breaths. "I've never been this nervous," he said. Never. Bruce had caddied for Watson for 20 years and had been by his side when he chipped in on the 17th hole at Pebble Beach in 1982 to beat Jack Nicklaus in the U.S. Open. He had been in a lot of pressurized situations, to put it mildly. "Never?" I asked. "Pebble Beach?" Bruce shook his head. "This is different. This is bigger than that. I looked around the tee, packed with players and caddies from both teams whose matches were over, and saw European captain Bernard Gallagher whispering in Roca's ear before Roca pulled a club from his bag. A sudden chill went through me. This was a big deal. It was also remarkable fun to watch and to feel. I remembered something Bud Collins had said to me years earlier during an extraordinarily intense U.S. Open tennis semifinal between Chris Evert and Tracy Austin. Some things in sports have to be felt. Seeing and hearing isn't enough. The Ryder Cup is one of those events. As everyone walked down the fairway, Roca had missed right and was in deep rough. I looked around and thought, someday I want to write about all this. It took me only 23 years to get around to it. I was at the Belfry for those matches as part of my research for A Good Walk Spoiled. As it turned out, Love and Roca gave me the perfect opening for that book, especially after Love later told me that he had stood in the middle of the 18th fairway feeling as if he might get sick in front of millions of people. Nerves are one thing. Feeling physically ill about hitting a golf shot is another. That's the way the Ryder Cup is, though, for everyone involved. Every player who has ever teed it up in one has a story about walking onto the first tee to play his first match. Keegan Bradley, who played superbly for the U.S. in 2012 at Medina in his Ryder Cup debut, can remember that first morning almost minute by minute. It started when I was driving to the golf course, he said. It was 5:30 in the morning, still dark outside. But as I drove in, I went past the grandstand behind the 17th green. It was full at 5:30 in the morning. It occurred to me that no one would come anywhere close to that green for more than 5 hours, at least, and it was already packed. I thought, my God, what have I gotten myself into? It kept getting worse. Phil Mickelson and I were playing in the second match against Luke, Donald, and Sergio, Garcia. I was standing on the putting green when Jim Furyk and Brandt Snedeker left to walk across the bridge to the first tee for the first match. I saw them heading across the bridge, and I thought, oh, God, we're next. I walked over to Phil. I felt like I was hyperventilating. I said, Phil, I'm not sure I can go through with this. I was wondering if there was any way at all I could get out of it. He just looked at me, smiled, and said, don't worry, Keegan. Luke and Sergio have never lost a foursomes, alternate shot, match. Nothing to be nervous about. By the time I got onto the bridge, I wasn't sure I could put one foot in front of the other. Bradley's story is like a lot of others. He was one of the lucky ones. On pure adrenaline, he hit his first drive well over 300 yards, and Mickelson put a wedge so close, he left Bradley with a tap-in birdie. After that, I was all right, Bradley said. He and Mickelson went on to win 4-3. Snedeker was also a rookie that day. Furyk, who was playing in his 8th straight Ryder Cup, had the tee for the Americans. He hit a snap hook. I should have been thinking, oh, God, do I have a shot from over there, Snedeker said. Instead, I was thinking, hey, if Jim Furyk can be nervous enough to hit a snap hook, then it's okay for me to be scared to death, too. Padraig Harrington, who has played on 5 European teams and was a vice captain at Hazeltine in 2016, may have explained it best for all of them. I remember standing over the ball and standing over the ball and standing over the ball, he said. At some point, the thought occurred to me that none of these people are leaving until I swing the club. It was a terrifying thought. Terror is a very real emotion in the Ryder Cup. So is absolute joy and absolute despair. When the U.S. team blew a 10-6 lead on Sunday in those 2012 matches at Medina, every single person in the American team room, players, vice captains, caddies, cried. That night, the unofficial tradition of the two teams getting together to toast one another and have a few or more drinks together was broken. Most of the time, the losing team goes to the winning team's wrap-up party to congratulate the winners and toast them. When the Americans didn't show up, the Europeans sent word wondering if they were coming or if they prefer that the Europeans come to them. The answer was neither. We were told, no thanks, we're just not up to it, said Ian Poulter, a huge part of that European win. I remember Davis, Love, coming in to represent them, but that was about it. We just...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?